This is WTIC-3 Channel 3, Hartford, Connecticut at 6 o'clock.
Tonight we have live team coverage for you, beginning with...
Good evening, I'm Dick Patel, and there's the 6 o'clock report for this Monday, December 17, 1973. The Reverend Leo J. Daly, pastor at the St. Joseph's Church, Saturday announced that renovations for the interior of the church totaling $100,000 will begin the first week in January in the preparation of the church's 75th anniversary in 1975. Contracts have been let out for bids for painting, carpeting, and pews and kneelers. A rendering shown in the sanctuary will be on display soon. The John P. Norton Company of West Hartford has been awarded a contract for painting and decorations. The firm has done work for over 175 churches in Connecticut. The church was built in 1907. St. Joseph's was organized at the turn of the century as the west side child of St. Rose's Parish. The church has grown from a chapel on West Main Street to its present complex. The church has been redecorated and renovated several times since its construction in 1930. Electrical wiring was installed in 1940 and new organ was installed wall. A marble columns being repaired with wooden pillars a year later as chimes were installed at the time of the complete renovation in 1951. The present main altar will be removed and replaced with a shrine of the Blessed Sacrament. This will be in a tabernacle against the wall facing the congregation, and the priest will serve mass on a new 8-foot table-like altar. The altar will be flanked by the statues of the Virgin Mary and St. Joseph. The aisles between the pews will be widened, and the crucifix between the shrine area will be refurbished. As organ repairs will be made. The vestibule will be carpeted and the pillar tops will be gladed. The vigil and Sunday Mass will be held in the church for Easter, as the weekday Masses and funerals will be held at the Rosary Hall unless family desires another church for a funeral. Weddings will be held in the other churches during the repairs. As for the months of April and May, vigil and Sunday Masses will be held in Rosary Hall.
From Providence and southeastern Massachusetts.
Meriden residents and residents around the Constitution State got their first taste of winter snow as the season's first snowfall hits the city and the state.
Offshore, and then things improve after that. So when all is said and done, my best estimate is about 4 to 6.
The subsequent slippery roads caused by the minor accidents and motorists particularly. Those without snow tires found the going on city streets to be pretty rough. Police alerted the Public Works Department at 3 p.m. to the slippery conditions on 13 sand trucks with 26 personnel toward the city sprinkling and all streets with sand, paying particular attention to intersections and hilly areas. After those threats by the Weather Bureau that the snow would commence falling sometime during the night, it actually started with minor morning flurries on Sunday. By noon, the snow came down in full force, buffeted by a gentle wind which added to the chilly temperatures in the mid-20s. The snow tapered at about 4:30 p.m., leaving only and 1/2 inch, but it was followed by freezing rains which added to the slippery conditions and to the discomfort of the drivers. The rain continued falling and freezing solidly encasing cars throughout the night, and weather predictions call for the rain to continue today mixed with sleet, turning to just rain during the day along with a coast but continuing to sleet inland until tonight. The rain will continue until Tuesday, and traffic was reported to be moderate Sunday, but those who ventured out soon found out was going rough, as spinning tires were heard throughout the city as a hapless motorist misjudged his vehicle's ability to cope with some road conditions. The hazardous conditions were cited by police as contributed to several accidents during the day. 3 persons were injured on East Main Street near Parker Avenue when a car driven
over another hour to get up into the Rockingham, New Hampshire stretch, where a number of accidents have been in the process of clearing up past exit 1 into Salem, New Hampshire. 128.
Meanwhile, a truck driver was killed on the Massachusetts Turnpike last night after falling out of the cab of the truck and being pinned under the truck, the police said. The man was described as 54-year-old Fred K. Frentz of Richmond, Ohio. Frentz was rushed to Providence Hospital by Massachusetts State Police and pronounced dead on arrival, a hospital spokesman said. The spokesman said Frentz suffered a fractured neck and internal injuries. He was a driver for Express Richmond, Ohio Pacific International, according to police. The accident occurred about 10 p.m. in the area of Brentford on the Turnpike, police said. Police said Frentz was found under the wheels of the trailer of the truck. He was believed to have landed under the rear wheels when the truck skidded, police said. State police said the death could definitely be attributed to the storm and said the turnpike had been closed to all tandem trailers. Meanwhile, an expected sleet storm moved north Sunday, predicted to hit heavy snow in the New England today. It's heavy snow warnings were posted along the storm's projected path along the eastern seaboard. Greater Springfield expected at 3 to 5 inches of freezing rain, sleet, and snow, and Main Street in downtown Springfield virtually deserted Sunday night following an all-day snow and sleet storm. The combination produced slick roads and resulted in a rash of traffic accidents and tie-ups. And Ken Gray will have more on that on the Travelers Weather Service coming up in the middle of the show. Jerusalem Secretary of State Henry A. Kissinger said earlier today that he has optimism about clearing the way for a Middle East Peace Conference in Geneva later this week. He described more than 6 hours of talks with Premier Golda Meir and other Israeli leaders as very friendly, very warm, very constructive. He said that the talks will continue later today. The Israeli cabinet met at midnight to hear Mrs. Meyer's report on the discussions. Israel has demanded concession from Syria as a condition for treating with Damascus, and the peace talks reports from the Syrian capital indicated that Kissinger was not successful in arranging such concessions. Mrs. Meyer said before Kissinger's arrival from Lebanon on Sunday night that Israel would not deal with Syria in Geneva unless it received a list of the 120 prisoners of the war held by Syria and the Red Cross allowed to visit the Israeli POWs. This decision does not prevent Israel's participating in the conference with Egypt and Jordan, Mrs. Meyer's office said. Since Syria and Egypt were major Arab combatants in the October War, Israeli refused to negotiate with the Syrians, with crippling the peace talks now scheduled to begin Friday. During a 6.5-hour meeting Saturday with Syria's President Hafez al-Assad, Kissinger apparently failed to get a list of Israeli POWs. Israeli officials had expressed hope he wouldn't bring such a list with him. One authoritative source in Damascus said that the Syrian president made it clear to Kissinger that there could be no peace in the Middle East without complete Israeli withdrawal from all Arab territories and full restitution of Palestinian rights. A positive outcome of the Damascus talks were the personal contact between Kissinger and Assad, which sources said somewhat thawed the frigid relations between the two countries. Kissinger landed in Tel Aviv on Sunday night and went by helicopter to Jerusalem in the dusk in a drizzling rain after private talks in a sitting room near the Israeli cabinet chamber. Kissinger said that the Israeli premier met with other Israeli leaders, including Major General Haran Yarif, Israel's negotiator and stalled ceasefire talks with Egypt. Yes, President was seen as an indication that the discussions touch up ways on the separating the Egyptian and Israeli forces along the tense Suez from ceasefire. The Israeli military command said clashes Sunday resulted in one Israeli beginning wound to south of Ismailia on the central Suez front and 4 in the Golan Heights along the ceasefire line with Syria. A Syrian spokesman cared for the northern end of a very violent clash.
Too much snow, but I'll deal with it. Not at all. No, actually, I classified me in state. I haven't heard that they canceled it yet, so I'm going. Snow or no snow.
A young Meriden woman lost her life when the car in which she was riding and turned over on Route 66 in Midfield Saturday night. Patricia Rosado, 20, of 91 Olive Street, was pronounced dead on arrival at Middlesex Memorial Hospital, and state police said the driver of the car, Maureen E. Blankenship, 24, 177 Norton Street in Milldale, was listed in satisfactory condition in Middlesex Memorial Hospital. According to the police, the Blankenship car was westbound on Route 66 in the vicinity of Mount Higby Reservoir when it struck the guardrail and flipped over. The accident, which occurred about 10:20 p.m., is being investigated by Trooper Paul Cusson. Born in Rutland, Vermont, Mrs. Rosado resided in Meriden a number of years and attended a Meriden public schools. It was the second traffic fatality in the Middletown area in a week in which a Meriden resident was killed. On December 8th, Dennis Blasco, 1950 Smithfield Avenue, was killed when the car he was driving went out of control, hit a tree, and flipped over on Rockfall Road in Middletown.
About an inch of snow on the ground in most spots.
Hartford, the Northeast representative of the American Petroleum Institute, said Sunday that the energy crisis is not contributed. Peter Wiggins out of support. I wish were the case because you could eradicate that very quickly, but there's not lots of evidence that is so, said Nelson Brown on the WTIC television program Face the State. As far as the country evidence is concerned, someone must produce evidence. We should sift faction from fact about the majestic tunnel of justice. He made the statement in response to a question regarding the recent suits that charged the major oil companies with controlling the petroleum industry. Brown said that the oil companies have been aware that a fuel shortage was coming, but the demand kept growing. He said that efforts have been made to find alternative sources of energy, including the gasification of coal, geothermal, solar, and nuclear. He also said refineries in the United States are currently running straight off to satisfy the needs of the country. Meanwhile, the energy crisis has cut into the state's recreation and construction industries and made well some dark clouds over the state's tax revenue picture. The uncertainty over gasoline supplies is making itself felt in Connecticut's $100 million boating industry. David Olson, president of the Connecticut Marine Trades Association, said the biggest worry for boat deals in the marine operation is the lack of definite information on fuel supplies. Olson and another boat dealer said that the customers are holding off ordering boats for the spring. Olson said that the industry is willing to take a 15% reduction of gasoline, but noted that an administration plan under consideration to ban all motor boats will be crippling. Some Connecticut camper trail dealers have said that the gasoline pinch is killing the business, while others are definitely in a shortage. People are afraid of recreation who needs a travel trail in a recession, said a Wallingford dealer. Another dealer in Avon said his last sale was about 6 weeks ago. The air energy crisis affects so many things. People are afraid that they'll get laid off from their jobs and afraid to invest in a camper, he said. But one East Hartford dealer is pushing the idea that mobiles were made for energy. Peter Wiggins, WTIC News, alongside Nelson Brown, Hartford. Wallingford residents and taxpayers have been virtually assured a dramatic and record-breaking growth in the town's grand list for 1993, which indicates an increase will be estimated at about $9 million. Town Assessor Robert Kemp says that it will. While official calculations remain to be completed, that the growth is the estimated of the real estate area alone at the present time shows that $9 million increase over last year. He said that it was possible that the additional growth may be found in assessments for motor vehicles and said personal property, but would not predict any total until the final computerized figures are submitted to his office. Kemp said that even if the grand list reflects only a $9 million growth from the real estate assessment of it, would establish a new record for the town of Wallingford. In previous years, an increase of $4 million and considered most favorable.
They are optimistic that everything will run smoothly.
In his preliminary projections, the assessor said that the sharp upturn resulted from the construction of the condominiums, apartment houses, and single-family homes, in addition to the referred to both commercial and industrial expansion in the past year, although the final figures on motor vehicle assessments are not expected until later this week. Kemp said that he was hopeful that they would be also show an increase. Our auto dealers reported enjoying one of the best sales years in 1973, followed by the trend of other parts of the nation. The assessor said that his staff initiated compilation of the new assessments shortly after October 1st, the cutoff date for the assessment purposes. His office was until January 1st, 1974 to sign the grand list and submit copies to the State Tax Commission. Kemp declined to make a speculation on how the record-breaking growth in the grand list would be affect local taxes.
193 North going out of Boston.
In Boston, the Boston Tea Party, the spark that fired the American Revolution, was enacted on the founding style of its 200th anniversary here Sunday as the People's Bicentennial Commission and try to bring hope. This is in 1933. 500 persons gathered at Congress Street Bridge at Boston Harbor, several hundred feet from the Griffin's Wharf, where the December 16, 1933 Tea Party took place. Despite freezing temperatures in Boston's first snow of the season, police estimate that the found that braved the blustery weather ranged from 20,000 to 45,000. The establishment group Boston 200 provided a mime reenactment where the actual Tea Party witch actors on the replica of the 18th century British ship Beaver tossed an empty chest into the icy water. The rowboats and members of the leftist BBC took over the Beaver waving signs reading Impeach Nixon and Pat the Hino companies of BBC number of the rowboat wearing a huge paper mache head of Nixon circular area. A dummy president was tarred and feathered and he was hung in effigy while voicing a lot of public address system blasted the nation's major oil companies for causing the energy crisis. A small contingent from the disabled American veteran painted and dressed as Indians kicked off the afternoon's activities by boarding a ship and tossing empty crates overboard. The Boston Indian Council showed up to protest what they termed the defamation incidents, but there were no incidents.
Now, we still have a ways to go with the snow, though, Harvey.
The entire day's activities were peaceful but noisy. No injuries were reported by police or American Red Cross officials on duty. Catherine Kane, director of the Boston 200, said she was delighted with the way the celebration went up, while admit there was no way for there not to be some confusion. In days only incident, military groups on Concord and Lexington, which were kept at one end of the bridge, left in a huff when the PVC crowd stormed front of the chain link fence in the area. The military social organization in Massachusetts said that they were concerned for the safety of the women and children with them. Mrs. Kane played down the disturbance, saying the people's group was disorganized and unprofessional, and added that Boston 200 discussed rules of the crowd control of the PVC leaders. Boston Mayor Kevin White asked if he thought confusion was running rampant, said, I'm saying all every day. That's not a hell of a lot different. Members of Charlestown military state followed the words of Captain Robert Davidson that we do not any confrontation and the situation needs. Mr. Kane said only in Boston could this happen. So many divergent groups and diverse opinions being expressed. Boston has tremendous respect for diversity. That's what makes it great. No tea was actually thrown in the harbor.
We're getting people this year.
Dhaka, Bangladesh. Bengalis observed their second anniversary of Independence Sunday in a mood of despair, disillusionment, and most of the acute disappointment. Despair because of the bleak prospects of the country faced with a lawless inflation, overpopulation, and stagnant economy. Disillusionment because of life under the Bengali government of the Prime Minister Mujibur Rahman is literally far below the meager standards of the almost quarter century when Bangladesh was East Pakistan. And acute disappointment because of the promises by Rahman and his subordinates on the Son of Bengal.
Right now,
Golden Bengal seemed farther than ever from realization. Bangladesh was born December 16, 1971, when the General AAK Nazi of the Pakistani Army as Dhaka garrison surrounded by Indian troops surrendered 93,000 soldiers and civilians. Fed hatred of the Pakistan in the flush of victory, Bengali hope soared the relative 30 to 730 days of independence, however, has brought them plummeted down like Newton's apple. Egypt's government has just issued a first 5-year development plan, a general realistic document that a Western and specialists described as basically a good job. Bureaucracy as a lingering colonial mentality and reliance on efforts for policy making continue to proceed. And political and major decisions, everybody agreed that the population menace could ruin the country's plans. Abdul Menon, the Minister for Health and Family Planning, said we have no other alternative but to solve it. Even its solution is terrifying if we are successful.
Dental is doing whatever it takes to give America a healthy
Successful.
dental labs for dental.
Because of the pre-holiday festivities which do not contribute to the work schedule and because of the energy fuel crisis, Meriden City Hall employees and non-essential of city workers will have an extra day this year in which to enjoy the holiday season. And Meriden issued Friday. Mayor Evan G. Grossman announced City Hall would be closed to the day before Christmas on Monday, December 24th, and all non-essential employees are given the day off. Police and firemen will work with their regularly scheduled shifts. Additionally, however, will not be a Christmas gift according to a memorandum from the mayor to all city department leads. The time taken off by any employee should be made up during the next 3 months. The department heads have given the responsibility of maintaining the necessary records to ensure compliance to the repayment time. Grossman said he was ordering the December 24th closing because the work habits of the American people before this important holiday are not conducted to the maintenance of the full production schedule and in order to conserve fuel, electricity, and other forms of energy. Okay, down to the Travel Weather Service announced. Ken Gary, take away Ken. Okay, thank you, Mr. Patel. Right now, current conditions at 6 p.m. reports, we got a temperature of 30 degrees in Brandon Airport, 30 in Bradley and Windsor Locks, 27 in Springfield, 24 in Raven, 24 in Bridgeport, 24 out in
Northbound has just been a disaster.
Groton. When you get out to Providence, Rhode Island, much milder temperatures, 52 degrees in Providence, 53 in New Bedford, 54 in Hyannis, 41 in Boston, 35 in Worcester, 47 out in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, 32 in Concord, New Hampshire, 24 down in New York City, 18 out in Poughkeepsie, New York, 12 in Albany, 14 in Glens Falls, 13 out in
Warrant has been issued for that father.
Utica, 16 out in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and 16 in Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Yesterday afternoon, Florida rain.
Weather-wise on the nation today.
Last night to his mom.
Cloudy and very cold weather covered the Metropolitan New York and the Mid-Atlantic states today as one of the worst ice storms in recent years moved throughout the air and into New England as snow ice-covered highways from Maine, stretching all the way down to New Hampshire and North Carolina, and heavy snow developing in New York State and Central Appalachians.
Based on their tracking of the car's fast lane transponder.
Heavy rain also reported in portions of New England, while gale warnings were issued along the coast of the North and Middle Atlantic states as occasional light drizzle. Snow occurred in the Lake region and Northern Plains states, while freezing drizzle reported in eastern Nebraska. So far, forecast will go like this. Rain tonight.
Volvo station wagon with a
So a forecast for today. Overcast skies with a 100% chance of rain showers, high about
Any information you're asked to contact police.
39 will be low, will be about mid-30s. For tomorrow, overcast with rain ending. 50% chance of rain is still likely. High will be in the upper 30s to near 40 degrees. And tomorrow night, cloudy skies will see a leftover showers about 0 to 10% possibility with a high. Now low about 25 to 30 degrees. Sunrise tomorrow morning about 7:13 a.m. and moonrise tomorrow 1:30 a.m. and new moon December 24th.
There's a 14.
Low water tide at New Haven Harbor about 11:39 p.m. and low water tide at 10:01 p.m.
Attorney says his client is not a flight risk.
At this new moon, there will be an annual eclipse of the sun, will be visible at a partial eclipse in the eastern part of the North America for a short time after the sun rises. That's Peter Travels Weather Service. I'm Ken Gary, saving all CO11. And coming up after this commercial break will be sports with George Ehrlich.
Will be held until the judge issues a ruling.
Now, your Storm Team Live forecast with Chief Meteorologist Harvey Leonard.
Late snowball.
Your 50-cent gift could be worth $75,000.
Northbridge is at 4.
Now, when you buy your lottery tickets, you can get special tickets just for the holidays in cherry red and green with little envelopes that make them perfect stocking stuffers.
Braintree about 2.5.
Chances of winning the lottery are far better than you think. About 1
Right in
250, but
these are the low.
not 1 in a million. In fact, almost every week, over 4,000 people win close to $300,000 in total cash prizes. Look to the red and white lottery display at your store and buy a handful. The more you give, the better your chances of giving a big winner. Make someone super happy by Thursday, December 27. Over 4,000 winners weekly in the Connecticut Lottery. This week's drawing will be held at the Meriden Downtown Mall, Thursday at 10:30 a.m. on December 20th, 1973.
See the lowest visibilities.
Okay, now, no. Sports now. George Ehrlich. Take away, George. Okay, thank you, Mr. Bertel. Yale Bull, frustrated, emotionally spent and hurt. New York Giants departing coach Alex Webster was nevertheless composed at a post-game interview Sunday where some scribes waited for what they thought was a cheerful swan song for the Giants coach of 5 years. Well, guys, I guess this is it. I'm going in hospital to get my mouth fixed and I'm going to look in the future. What was wrong with your mouth? I had it kicked to pieces some years ago. I'm going to take time to have some bone splinters removed from the roof and jaws. Ask of future plans in of his present feelings. Big Red, who had given his life since 1955 to the New York Football Organization, said, I'm completely empty and I had a chance and I was probably with the finest franchise in the league and I had the opportunity to go do it and it just fell apart. Accepted goodbye handshakes from the writers, with whom Alex always cooperative and gracious. He shouldered all the blame for the team's disappointing and miserable 2-11 one season. Told he shouldn't end any chance need help, and in many years he humbly stated, look, I'm the coach, I'm the guy who was supposed to make a winning team, and I'm the guy who didn't do it. Alex admitted it would be difficult to go elsewhere. I've lived in Jersey for 19 years and played and worked in the New York metropolitan area. It would be very tough to live elsewhere. There was talk of a website 7 job with a Giants front office. Vice President Tim Maurer, nephew of owner Wellington Maurer, was good and asked about the chances for Webster's seeking an organization. I don't know. Alex and I are very good friends. If he wants to say and thinks he could be happier than on something that might be worked out, he is having a meeting with my uncle this week. And so it was. The Giants lost as usual as Webster departed as coach sorrowfully, but with his head high and minus tears at least in front of everybody.
When you get down to the area of Taunton to Plymouth,
New Orleans, black civil rights group demanded more high power society power too. That has vowed to bring the Sugar Bowl back and ABC TV to their knees if it doesn't get it. Spokesman of the ad hoc committee on the Sugar Bowl announced the drive to boycott the New Year's Eve football game, pledged to picket all events in the annual sports fest and threatened to do worse. Unaccustomed to the tactics and modern rhetoric of civil rights, verbal warfare, the Gentile Midwinter Sports Association has been shaken by the threat to the Sugar Bowl's first national championship game in 20 years. It matches Alabama #1 in the Associated Press poll against #3 Al.
yes, their change is coming.
The Irish and Notre Dame in a clash that will be telecast by the American Broadcasting Corporation. The uproar is an unusual effort to force the socially elite private club organization that sponsors the annual show to become 1/3 black or face an effort to spoil the game. A lot more than social circle crisis involved. Backers figure a good ball brings up to $18 million in new money into New Orleans, where tourists are a major money crop. Plans were announced to protest because at 86,000-seat Tulane Stadium, where the game is a sellout and plaster the town with bumper stickers urging boycott Sugar Bowl 73. Alvin Chambliss, a lawyer, said the committee might file a U.S. District Court suit seeking to join ABC TV from its television telecast on the ground that blacks didn't have a fair share of Sugar Bowl planning.
Largest in U.S. history. That's tonight at 11 after.
Colin Government Committee spokesman says that the group also pledged to summon the black players on the football and basketball teams that they hit town and asked them as racial obligation to boycott the game.
Thousands of cats. I have many
The player boycott threat was first raised 3 weeks ago. At the time, the committee said black players had already been contacted. Notre Dame and Alabama players reached by newsmen said they knew nothing about it and didn't want to. Calvin is going to fall flat on the face particular black player here. Was described the committee as loud but featherweight. Memphis, Tennessee, North Carolina State's defense knows there was more than to stopping Kansas than just stopping All-American quarterback David James in Monday night's Liberty Bowl football game. The Wolfpack can't let everyone else score on that just to stop James. North Carolina State coach Lou Holtz of the 7-3-1 Jayhawks. But offensive muscle will not be exclusively on Kansas' side. Some of the most powerful teams said that he felt the Wolfpack nip their heels with an offense led by quarterback Bruce Shaw and winners Willie Burton, Stan Fritz, and Chai Young. They scored a lot of points against good teams like Penn State and Maryland. We always figured that someone who scores 14 points against Nebraska, which North Carolina said can move the football, Kansas coach Don Fumber observed.
Get the best deals of the season during our holiday sale.
And that's it for sports.
And receive a free Loon Mountain ski package for 2 with every new and pre-owned vehicle.
And that is going to be it for the WTIC 6 o'clock report on this December 17th, 1973 on Monday. I'm Dick Berto alongside Ken Gary and George Joy saying I give a good evening. Coming next on Channel 3 will be the CBS TV News with Walt Cronkite. We'll be back at 11 o'clock. Have a good evening. See you at 11. Goodbye, everybody.